Hey folks, welcome back. We've got all of our parts for the machine made. We've got our spinners, we've got our travelers, we've got our donkeys, our tops. Just wanted to do a quick follow-up. I got a little spinner here from Harbor Freight. It was like 20 bucks. But the cool thing is that it had this little arm that adds onto the side of it. This guy ended up actually being a better sander than the oscillating drum sander. And so when I sanded these guys out, I was able to sand these at a good angle. What I have found is I wouldn't use a paddle bit again. When I did the paddle bit, it ripped out a lot of the wood when it was doing the holes. So I'm going to have to go back and do more sanding. We tried to use one of these new tops and there's just some really ripped out wood that's not smooth. It catches on the yarn. So this guy right here from Harbor Freight's really good, or you can get a little roto tool. Those work really well. That's what this is here, but it's just connected to a power supply. But these guys are working really good. If you've been following, you've seen that we've been out to about 3 or 4 different events doing ropes. And what I'll do is I've taken the yarns and I put them on my cake spinner, my cake maker. If you've seen that one, I love my cake maker. And I just set these guys on the ground on the concrete. And then I let folks pick the colors, and then I walk back and forth. Well, sometimes the colors, the yarn gets caught on my wheel or on my pants or on other things. So I wanted to make a cake maker, a cake stand. And so what I'm going to do is I've got 4 of them laid out here on the bottom, and I'm going to make a second layer and put enough space so I can have 8 on the bottom and 8 on top. And I was thinking I was going to kind of do the Roy G. Biv, where I have a dark red and then a pink, a dark yellow. I have like a really rich golden yellow and then a light yellow, an orange, and then maybe a neon orange. I've got a dark green and a light green, and then blue and light blue, a purple, and then a light purple. Then I've got black and whites, and I've got a gray. And that way, all of these cakes, the way the yarn comes out is it comes right out the center. So I'm going to put these 3 slats across the bottom, and then I'm going to put 3 slats up high, and then these are going to come straight up through the top. So these 8, they're at the top level, they're going to do a zigzag the opposite direction, so this string will come right up through the yarn below it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a handle up here, and then all the yarn is going to come up through the top and come around like this. So when I'm doing the rope walk, I'll pull, and this dowel will keep the yarn coming straight up, and I'll also be able to use this as a handle, so I should be able to pick this up. I'm going to have 2 shelves here. So I've got it laid out here. I've just got some flimsy 1/2 inch by whatever just came out of another piece of furniture. I'm all about reusing wood. So I've got it laid out here. I've got just a rough drawing. I'm going to have a bottom shelf, a middle shelf, some sides, and a wooden dowel across the top. I've got plenty of scrap wood, and then I'm just going to tack it into these pieces and just make a little shelf. So just wanted to show that right here. I've got this laid out. I'm going to measure that and cut it, and I'm going to measure it to the height of the traveler here, so that when this wooden dowel is pulling the yarn, it lines right up with the traveler. So it grabs those hooks really good. So we'll get that measured high, and I'll cut these right at where they're at length there, so we have enough to put 8 on there. I'll do 2 of those, and then I'm just going to cut me out of just a little scrap of wood to go, because this is really light wood. These won't be able to get screwed into each other, so I'll use just a little scrap piece, cut myself a 1x2, and then I think this time, because there's no real structural weight to it, I'm going to just use a brad nailer. Just for fun. I've got a tool and haven't used it very often, so I'm going to get this guy cut out and we'll see how it looks. Did some quick measurements, and the height of the traveler where the hook is at is 36 inches, and the width for those cakes to sit nicely is 36 inches. So I just cut all my boards to 36 inches, and then I used some 1x2 and cut them for 12 inches, and then I'm just laying them here. So there's shelf number 1. And of course I said it like I'm just using a quick little brad nailer. up as I do it. And that's going to give plenty of space for the yarn to come off the top of the cake. So I'll put this second one up above it. So what I'm doing on these guys, putting top and the bottom, and then center this one here. And I'm just eyeballing it. So now I got the two shelves done. I somehow lost a piece of wood somewhere. So I've got just enough. I'm going to put 3 legs on one side, and I'm just going to put 2 legs on this side, which is okay. And then I found out, of course, my wooden dowel is a little bit too short, but I've got a piece of oak from that old entertainment center. Give me an excuse to pull the router out, and I'll just round off an edge. There's a 1x2 on there. I'll round off all 4 edges and cut it to fit it between these 2 legs. So we'll get this leg here put together. Same way, just using a 1x2. And then I'll put the handle up on top of this guy. And again, there's not a bunch of weight. It's just some yarn on there, so just enough so it's wide enough that it doesn't just get knocked over every time. So then what I'll do here is, at this point, I'll attach a shelf here and a shelf a little bit here off the ground, and then I'll cut the handle piece for across the top, and then the yarn will come up, go around that handle, and this height here is the same height as the handles, or the hook on the Traveler and the hook on the spinners. So we've got it together. Now I don't have my handle just yet, so I just threw a broom up here. And they're only single stacked right now. So it's designed with the 2 slits in here that I can double stack them like this. And then they come right out the top, these cake makers. Like that. And then you place it on there. Thread it up in between, come around the handle like this. So then when we take them, we tie them on the knot, and then we can start walking, and we'll pull them straight up. And then when we cut them, they'll drop just like that. So now I have spaces for 8 on the bottom and 8 on top. And some of these smaller ones, I could always multiple stack them here. So I'm going to get a handle up here, and then I'm trying to decide whether I want to put Velcro or just let it lay like this. But I've got the cake stand made, if you will. Had some fun with that. That way too, the yarn will stay up off the ground. A lot of kids are walking past it, they want to go up and grab the yarn, and sometimes it gets tangled up in a knot. So at least if it's on a stand, maybe that will help deter it a little bit. But just wanted to show you the ends put on. I'll put a handle across the top that'll do just what this broom handle's doing. I need to make sure I get it nice and round and smooth. And then we'll just be able to grab the colors they pick if they want pink and green or pink and black. And then we just walk, and we'll pull them straight out the top if they want a red and a yellow. And then away we go. And it pulls them straight up. And then when we're done, we just cut it and they drop right back down, and then we can grab them again. So that was an idea helping with the yarn. Ta-da! A cake stand. All right, folks, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.